Welcome to Washington in Focus. I'm your host, Brett Davis, the Center Square's Washington State Editor. Joining me today is reporter Randy Brecht. Now, not that listeners can tell because it's a podcast, but I'm wearing a t-shirt from Salish Lodge and Spa that I got during a stay there earlier this year with my significant other. It's the last time and place I got a professional massage. Now, I mentioned that as a way of segueing into a recent piece you did, Randy, on the Spokane City Council, unanimously approving a measure to regulate local massage and reflexology businesses. So what's the reason for this regulatory crackdown?
Well, let me just say in advance, Brett, that you seem much more relaxed now, so apparently that helped you out. But on Monday, the Spokane City Council was asked to consider adoption of this new ordinance that regulates local massage and reflexology business as a safeguard against potential prostitution, human trafficking, and other related crimes. Apparently, police are aware that some sort of illegal activity may be happening at some of the businesses in the area, but the officers themselves have been hampered in any investigations because they've lacked specific authorization to check whether individuals working at these businesses have appropriate state training and certifications as massage therapists. So during Monday's meeting, Council President Lori Kinnear said a police detective had alerted city officials regarding the possibility of this illegal activity, sought a means to address that. Kinnear said that they were informed that some women, typically from China, are being brought to the U.S. under the guise of performing massages. But in her words, there are other things that they do. So this is curbing that activity.
Other things that they do.
Other things that they do. So
this is a family podcast.
I'm not going to speculate on what that entails. But Kinnear also said officials were informed that the alleged human trafficking is being coordinated in some fashion in Western Washington, rather, and may now have extended into Eastern Washington. They didn't mention any specific numbers Monday and how prevalent a problem it might be or how many businesses might be involved. But they did note that there's often other criminal activities such as using illegal drugs or weapons that are associated with human trafficking.
I didn't realize this was a statewide problem, apparently.
Apparently so. Part of what the ordinance is patterned after is from the city of Kent in Western Washington. Kinnear and council member Karen Stratton, they co-sponsored this ordinance, which the council did pass unanimously. If it's signed by the mayor, Nadine Woodward, it'll take effect 30 days afterwards. And they mentioned that Spokane's corporate neighbor, the city of Spokane Valley, also has adopted a similar ordinance. So it apparently is of some concern in the area.
I did not realize this was such a problem.
Yeah. In its summary, the Spokane's ordinance says it recognizes there's value of legitimate massage and reflexology businesses, but there's also this concern whether those presenting themselves as legitimate operations might in fact be employing unlicensed persons who could be victims of human trafficking and forced into prostitution. So, I mean, it's an issue.
I understand there's some other things the ordinance does.
Yeah, it specifies that any practitioners working in these types of businesses, they need to be age 18 and older, and it allows the police a limited right of inspection to determine whether persons who are present are massage therapists who've actually met the state standards for training and certification. So, and with that authorization, police now have a way to check to see if these practitioners are instead unlicensed persons who might be being exploited or trafficked. So within the scope of the ordinance, there's limits placed on law enforcement. They're restricted to times when the business is open. They have to do these inspections in a common area, presumably like a foyer or a front counter. Entry or inspections of rooms where the services are provided are not allowed without consent from the business or a search warrant or some other lawful basis.
The police can't just bust in anytime
they want. They can't bust in, unless there's some real probable cause for something or they've got consent or something like that. And you can't go in after hours or something. So if they do discover a violation, it's considered a misdemeanor offense. Any subsequent violations are going to look at as a gross misdemeanor, which carries more penalties, and any convictions could result in a denial or revocation of the business license too.
Well, it looks like Spokane and other cities around the area are doing the same thing. Well, so it'll be interesting to see if this has an impact or the desired impact.
Right. I mean, we'll see how it plays out over time, whether there's any significant criminal activities identified as a result. It'll be interesting to track that.
Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. For Randy Brecht, this is Brett Davis. Please subscribe, and thanks for listening.